and I just need to do some styling. I think that's probably like the main thing. Is the styling just to make it look a lot better. So I would like my forms to look better. I want to get rid of these asterisks in front of these, fields, uh, and
So you
yeah,
need
just kind of
validation.
fix
Just
it up.
type validations, right? So go back to the UI. Just click on submit. Let's see if it validates.
Okay. Or
Just click on
should
login.
I?
Yeah. So if you click it
Okay.
over, no, no, no. What was the previous page? That was sign up. I just saw a lot of fields, right? Maybe click on sign up. Or
Or sign up. Okay.
yeah, if you click on sign up, right? Click on the button sign up. Let's see the validation works. Uh, yes and no. I think. Okay. Yeah. So there's a I think it's validation working, right? So I see that because star means it's a mandatory. So
Mm-hmm.
when you click on sign up. I see the can't be blank, but I would see that in those boxes maybe highlight with the red color, that way user can know like what are the yeah, like that. When you click on the sign up, that's one. Those fields should be highlighted with some kind of color, red color, whatever. That way you know what fields need to be entered as mandatory fields.
Okay.
So let's try signing up. Let's see if it works with the actual account. Yeah, something.
Okay. Let's see. What can I do? Uh, uh,
Also, this Postgres, somebody like said you should use the Postgres.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'll sign up as a seller, and then okay. So this is the seller account, and the seller account works a little differently than the buyer account. So right now, you have this additional feature, which I have. This definitely needs to be fixed, um, where the seller can chat directly with um, the listings buyer. So on this listing, the buyer is Alana, and when you click here, I want this to automatically make the recipient Alana, and it'll automatically, like, I can pretty much make a
Yeah,
um
pre-fill the fields. You have to pre-fill
yeah,
the fields. You said.
yeah,
Okay.
I want it pre-filled as opposed to like a drop down, because if I have like, I don't know, thousands of users, I can
For time, right? When the user selects that I'm a buyer, so that means you have to store that field somewhere, right?
mm-hmm.
So that can be accessed in this page, right? Because they're two separate pages. So when you click on that one, that's what my understanding is.
Oh, so which one
Go back to the previous one.
here?
So when you click on that one, you should do what you should do. Click on that. You said right.
Yeah, if you click on this user, it'll take me to the user's profile page
Oh, I see. Okay, okay.
and all of the users' listings. So these are all the listings that this particular user posted. If you click on another one, so let's see. Oh, that's Alana. So click on rose gold, it'll do the same thing. Just takes you back to their profile page. But this comment here, so this message here, I want this to pre-fill with that particular user's username. So since this is Alana's listing and I'm going to be messaging Alana about this particular post, then this should be the recipient should be a hidden field that's pre-filled with Alana. I shouldn't have to choose from, different names here. And then the listing, this is a feature that I'll add later. I don't have to do this now, but actually no, I should do this now. So it should pre-fill with the user's username and that listing. So in fact, both of these should be hidden fields that's pre-filling with this particular username and this particular post or listing. Um, so that means in both cases, I shouldn't have to choose from a drop down. So I want to fix that. And then it'll just be pre-filled with the recipient's username and that particular post that we're referring to. So it would be this one. I'm looking for this outfit um, instead of having to drop down. And then the body is just the message, so I can send a message like, "Hello, I have this item," or I have these items, and create a message. So you see there's a message, and then when you go to the messages, you can actually see the message. And then this is another thing that I want to change. Right now, this is giving me the ID of the listing. So this is listing number 4. Eventually, I want some sort of like title or something, some keyword um, instead of the actual ID for that listing. And then, of course, I want the sender's username to be present and the recipient's username to be present instead of their IDs. Because right now, it's just showing me the IDs. So that's the messages feature. And then if I log on to Alana, it should show up on that account as well. So actually, let me log out of this seller account and log into the buyer account. And then and here it is. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. Okay, so creating a new listing. So eventually, when I set up a bucket for the AWS to store my images, um, the images will be a lot better, and then I'll have instead of you just putting in a link, there would be like like you choose. You could either take a picture or you can choose from the pictures that you have on file. So yeah, eventually I want to fix that. But right now, I think, oh yeah, I think I copied this image. Let's see. So let's actually copy. Let's just make sure I copied that properly. I think that should be the same image. If not, it's okay. So I'm looking for these play shoes. And then the category would be shoes. And then you create the listing. Okay. And of course, I'll have to fix this page. I don't think I want this page to be here. But when you go to the listings, there it is. So that's the listing. And so when I sign in on the seller account, I have that additional feature. So right now I'm a buyer. So all I can do right now is just look at and see the post. Um, but when I sign up as a seller, I have that additional feature where I can message the buyer on that post. Um, so that's how the app works. You create a listing, you can message back and forth, message different users. Of course, I have to refine this. Um, I don't know. I think eventually I'll make it where buyers can also message other buyers. But for now, since I have the app set up where you either sign up as a buyer or a seller, there's just certain things that buyers can do that sellers can't, and there are things that sellers can do that buyers can't. So I kind of wanted to keep them separate. But on both accounts, you can look at someone else's profile. So if I click on Rose Gold, you can see all of the posts that this person made. So anyone who signs up on the account or signs up for an account and makes a listing, you'll see the most recent listings on the homepage displayed. And then the messages, these are private messages. There's the creating a new listing, then there's the profile page, and then this is just kind of like if you want to edit any information on your profile. Um, I feel like there's some other features that I wanted to add to this. I'm trying to think. Oh, what else did I want to do? But yeah, I do want to fix this. This is probably one of the main things that instead of the ID, it should display like some sort of title or the category or something other than just the ID. And then the same thing for the sender and the recipient. It should just be their username being displayed. Um, yeah. What else? I feel like there's like a lot of things I wanted to add to this. Um, what was that? Computer screen at example.com. The account that we were on before. Okay. Um, let's see. So to create a new offer, it's a little messed up, and this is another thing that I want to fix. It's pretty much the same thing as a listing, but since I'm on the seller account, in this case, I can create an offer on a listing. This is what I've been kind of struggling with. I don't know if I want to actually get rid of this message column and just have like set up something where it just sends when you send an offer, it sends a message alongside that offer. I kind of need to work on the functionality of the offer feature because that's not fully fleshed out. But right now, you can create an offer. Same, it's kind of the same process as creating a listing, except you're including the price, and this needs to go. This message needs to go. But um, this time you can add a price. So say I have whatever item that this person's looking for. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to add an additional one to create an offer on the post too, so that it makes it a lot easier as opposed to, you know, trying to look through all of these listings. Because if there are, thousands of listings on this site, you can't just like scroll through. So it would have to be like specific to a listing. So it's like if I have this item and I can sell this item to this customer, then I click on this and or click on something else and I can create an offer. So I'm looking for these ballet shoes, the recipient Solana, create the offer. I'm the seller, so I'm computer screen, and then ballet shoes. And the image is required because since I'm making an offer, like, the buyer has to see exactly what they're offering. So I could just take the same photo and 100. The price would be 100, and then you would create an offer. So, yeah, this is messed up. I have to fix this. Definitely have to fix this. This is not working. But you can see all of the same thing applies to the seller account. You can see all of the offers they made, um, and then that's pretty much it. But yeah, for now, I just want to work on. Well, I do want to work on the functionality, but then I also want to work on some front end.
It's cool. Nice.
Thank you. Stop sharing now.
All right, so can everyone hear me? Testing, testing, one, two, three. Is anyone able to hear me or no?
I can hear you.
Okay. Oh, okay, sounds good. Yeah, so I was running. I ran in a little bit late. But I am here now. I think I just caught the tail end of how far that you're able to get in your application, right? If I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
Um, okay, all right, very well, very good. And then Andre. Okay. Was he also here? And I think Kevin just left. Were there more people here or?
It was just us three.
Okay, it's just the three. All right, and all right. So Andre, just introduce myself. I'm Halik. I'm one of the hosts, right? At with We Build Black for the virtual gathering, virtual code and chill that we have every Saturday. Um, so a little bit about me, right? I've been in the industry for about 5 years now. I worked in the financial space. Right now, I got my own bit. Currently, I'm working on a video management application, right? And a lot of interesting things I want to discuss. So here at We Build Black, as you know, we do workshops. We talk about all things code, right? So that's just my introduction.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Before you came on, I kind of um, did a quick introduction of myself as well because it's my first time here. Um, I I'm currently residing in South Carolina, where I am a teacher. Um, and unlike most of you here, that I mean, you do have some sort of experience in coding and development. For me, I'm like a beginner because I'm at that stage in my life. I would like to look at how I can develop educational games for kids and students. So for me, I'm like at the first stage, the first steps in knowing all about this and where to start and all of that.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's good. All right, very well, very well. If you mind me, what resources or like boot camps have you looked at so far? Right? Have you looked at? Are you working on any resources, or you don't have any as of yet?
I, I I'm currently using Unity. Um I'm doing a program with them, and again, it's like a beginner's program. And that's like in using C sharp to do basic coding, and like creating your own small games. Um, I kind of just started with them, but apart from Unity, I keep hearing like everybody I talk to when it comes to coding, they're talking about Python, um, which is something I also want to look into. I've never used it before, but the only experience I so far have um, is using Unity and C sharp.
All right. All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
For like yeah, C sharp and then C plus plus for like Unreal Engine. Right. Those are like the two main things I've heard of. Um, right. You can also make games with JavaScript. Right. Even mobile apps with Flutter. Right. I think they have a feature in Flutter where you can make games even for mobile apps. Right. So
yeah,
yeah. So all right. And then
yeah.
okay, is this like a course? Is this like a course that you're taking from? Or are you going like from the official? Okay. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure Unity, because I think when I think of Unity and Unreal, right, I think of the more like games that you see out for that come out for consoles and stuff like that.
No,
But I'm pretty sure you
yeah,
could.
it's a course that they're offering, um, where you start out with the basic, and then you dive deeper into looking at developing more complicated games. So it's actually a course that um, you take step by step. Um, the other thing I kind of heard Elena said that she's like a part of a. Oh, I saw that she just posted like an apprenticeship program. Because for me, I'm trying to like be more disciplined in um um going after or like in coding, because sometimes it can be, you know, a bit boring and you're not that driven. And I mean, I think like being a part of a group or like an apprenticeship program would kind of motivate me more in um pursuing what I want to do.
No, okay, interesting, interesting. Yeah, I think and now like for being like a teacher, like are is like what you the things that you teach, is it like related to like your main course that you teach the kids, or is you're completely or teaching a completely different topic?
Um, I teach like remedial math and reading, and I'm just looking if I were to like really go into game development. I mean, that's where I'd want to start off with like games that can help kids how to read better or improve on their reading. So that's where I'd want to start off in the sense of like educational games, and as I become more um, immersed, then I could take it further.
Okay, okay. Yeah, very well. I mean, yeah, for me, I'm not in the game. I'm not in the game development space, too much. Um, more like building applications. So right, I would only give so much insight, but um, yeah, I could give so much insight onto it. But no, that's interesting to hear. All right, very well.
Yeah,
All right, very well. All right. I think what I want to do is I want to see 100% folder. I want to see some topics that I want to try to talk about in the group today, in the chat today, and then it probably won't take too long. Not a lot of people here, right? So it can only give so much insight about these topics before we probably just wrap up for today. Uh, yeah, one thing, right? Yeah, I mean, one thing I'm thinking about is my Flutter application and on how I'm working on it. And I had a in the while. All right, so while I look for that file, in the meantime, I think I'll just discuss it. Um, right. So I'm at a point in my project that I'm working on where um, I'm deploying my Flutter application into the App Store, right? So basically, so right now the mobile app is in closed testing. If you have an Android, right, if you wanted to download the app, right, I have to provide a link and then give it to you. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to deploy one for preview environment and then one for production, right? So now, Andre and Alana, have you heard of environments during coding? Have you guys heard of any of you guys heard of like in different environments while you code?
Yes, yes, and that's where I've been having issues all week because my app was working in development, but it wasn't working in production, and it literally crashed and failed right before I was supposed to give my presentation. So, yes, I have, and I've been struggling with it quite a bit.
Yeah, what ways does Ruby on Rails allow you to? So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure Ruby on Rails allow you to specify different environment. Is that what we were like discussing before I came on?
It wasn't what we were discussing before you came on, but
Oh,
yes, you can specify what environment. That is true. But I guess the issue I was having is that I would make changes. I pushed the changes because everything was working in development, but then when I was deploying to render, it was it was um it was crashing. It was breaking pretty much. And I found out why, and it was just this really long-winded process. So I think to not experience that in the future, I'm going to set up AWS and just set up a bucket for my images for any of my assets. So any videos, any images, because um, that was the problem. Was how the images were rendering, and uh, production didn't like it very much.
oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. What about you, Andre?
Um, I think my environment, I'm not sure if it's like the same thing, but um, like one of the games, again, it's like just simple games, and with the thing with Unity, they like already have predefined like environments for you to like put objects or stuff in, obstacle and all of that. You can place it within the environment. So um, I'm not sure when you speak about environment if it's the same thing.
All right, it's like when we speak about environment, it's more like this. You know, when you're preparing your course at home, right?
Yeah,
It's called a draft, right? Like your first draft, second draft, or when the student hands you an essay, right? It's like first draft, second draft, third draft. Oh, Andre, I'm asking you.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So and then once the reports are due, it's called the final. It's called the final draft, right? Or it's not even a draft anymore. It's an essay now, right?
yeah, yeah.
Right. So that's what you mean by environment. So basically, right, when we say development, right, that's the first draft, right? And then in environments, you also have like staging. That's for like your internal team to review, and that's when your production.
Oh,
That's when you finally submit that report. That's what we mean,
okay,
right?
okay.
Because like you wouldn't want to submit to you the teacher. You don't want to submit the first draft, right? You want
The
to
first
submit
draft, yeah.
right. You want to submit the final. right? And why we have environments, it is the same reason, right? Why right, people, there's first draft, right? The production is like the final version, like that's ready. Okay, same thing with game development, right? So say for example, um, for game development, for your first draft, right? Your server is your local computer. All right, all
Yeah.
right, you're with me. All right, so I just want to see if you understand environments. Now, when the game
Yes,
goes
I
into
understand.
yeah, when the game goes into production, do you want your server to be your local computer or not?
Um, no, I would not want it to be my local computer.
Right, right. There you go. So that's environments. All right. So instead of your server being your local computer, it'll probably be something from AWS, GCP, Azure, or well, I'm not too familiar. I know it's UDP, but wherever the game server is going to be hosted, right? That's what you're going to use for production, right? So uh, yeah, so there's that. So there is that. And then right back to and then back to what I'm trying to do with my application is that for mobile apps at least, uh, it's like so far I'm using ChatGPT to help me out, but like so far when there's a mobile app, right? There's like so I mean so far we consider like development and production, but there's also like preview or staging environment. And when deploying to mobile app for close testing, I want the app right to hit the preview environment and not production, right? And so far, right now, the app is hitting preview environment. I mean, the app is hitting production. Like preview app is hitting the production uh, Firebase app in GCP, right? And I'm trying to work on configuring that so that it just hits preview, right? Because preview environment now it's not quite production. It just looks like production. It was usually called staging, so I'll call it staging. It looks like production, but it's just for your internal team. So when you ever get into the role of the software, or like say for example, before you release your game, right? You just want to see that it works, right? So instead of pushing it right to production, you just put it into preview, right? And then production is what all your customers are using, are paying for, because you don't want to test things out in production, right? So we have a staging
Yeah.
environment. So yeah, so yeah, so there is that. There is that. All right, and all right, and
Michael,
what's
can
up?
you explain why mine is working in development and then when I get to production it fails? And then like I get the most vague error message in my logs. And so like I'm racking my brain for hours trying to figure out where the issue is, and it's something simple with my images. Like it's like the simplest thing, but like it's working in development, but it caused my production to completely break.
Yeah, so well, Ruby on Rails is different. You know how it goes about things is different. So that's all. Yeah, I would say, but I'm pretty sure in the beginning you've developed the application with environments in mind, right? So like you said, if environment is preview, do that. If environment's production, do this. Like the if else statements.
Yeah, somewhat. Yes, I feel like it was on. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Not really, but kind of.
Yeah, yeah. As you develop, there's quite a couple of things that you keep in mind with these environments. Like as you develop, right, you have to even for you, Andre, like you have to check each and every point that there's a that you're always checking against the environment, right? And what I like to do is that instead of like have the if else statements all over the code, right? In our applications, like Angular provides this to a degree. Even V, they have like these environment, but there's like things like .env. I'm not sure if you heard of .env, right? But we also have environment file where we kind of specify everything, right? And I'll just share my screen to show you what I mean. All right, real quick. All right, copy here. All right, yeah, this is a little exception. env.dart, right? So this is the Flutter app we're working on. This is the environment file, okay? And now, what we do in the constructor, right? Andre, you know what a constructor is, right? Right? For you know what a class is, right?
Yes.
And a constructor too, right?
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. All right, yeah, just making sure. All right, so basically, what we have is this check, right? You specify that type. So basically, how does this type get specified? Right? We won't launch the application. This is Flutter, right? So Ruby might be different, C might be different, but I'm gonna have to. All right, yeah, 35. Hold on, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, there were some secrets that I don't want out there, so I'm gonna have to edit out. Make sure I edit it out. Oh, 35. 27, right? So basically, I specify the environment here. It will be dev. Usually that will go there. But then when I go ahead and build it, then I'll change it over to preview and prod. And then by specifying those environment variables, right, I make that environment file, right? So anytime I call that endpoint, let's go to the accounts endpoint. Or accounts river pod provider. There we go. Right? So now, when I go and grab the URL, right, this is already handled. Right? This is already handled because this call, what it ends up doing, it grabs the URL, which is from here, but this is already has a value of whatever I passed in based on the type. Right? So now instead of doing if else all over the application, I do it in one spot. So anywhere in your application where it expects the value to be different based on the environment, instead of like repeating it all out, because say for example you had to change the domain. If you did if else all out throughout your application, right? Then you have to every single place update it. But now here you can only do it once. So now, say for example, I wanted to change the name of the preview environment. I'll just go staging. I'll just go staging, and that is it. All right, and that is it for that. So yeah, I'll just go staging, and then that is it. But I'll just change it back to preview. All right. So yeah, essentially, right. That's how you wanna go about it. That's where I want to go. William, is that you?
Yeah,
It's
it's
you.
me.
It's the mobile guy. Yeah, I'm going to need to connect with you because I was explaining to the group environments and how I'm trying to get a different flavor. So I understand in Android it's known as flavors. If you want like a app for staging and then an app for release for production, then you have to make a
Mhm.
staging flavor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
That's
So
correct.
I definitely want to try to. I know a lot of we did a workshop. I think we're going to do a second workshop where we try to get this figured out, the staging issue figured out. But yeah, ultimately, essentially, right. But also, essentially, Alana and Andre, right. That's what you want to try to do. You want to make an environment file somewhere in your application, and you want to use it to place all the different configurations for all your different environments there, right? So
I wish someone had have told me that before I deployed, because that now makes a lot more sense. In order to get rid of the error messages, because it kept saying couldn't find or couldn't build URI, so I had to write if statements, specifically for the images because that was where the entire issue was stemming from. So I was just going to make a bucket for my images, for my assets, to just so I could be rid of that problem in case I want to add images elsewhere and I run into the same issue. But what you're saying makes a lot more sense. It's just to have an env file, and I feel like I do. I know when I was doing Sinatra, I did, but I don't know about Rails because we haven't really talked much about env file. We did a little bit, but not much. Mainly, our primary focus was just deploying what we had. But it turned out to be for my detriment because when I pushed changes, it broke the entire production, and then the error messages were so vague that I really didn't know like what was going on, and like it was just a simple thing of like wrapping um something into I would have to show you for it to make more sense, but I had to wrap something into if statement to get rid of those error messages. But that feels like bandaging the wound, and it doesn't actually feel like it's taking care of the issue at hand. That's why I was just going to set up AWS and um, have that handle all of my assets.
Yeah, there you go. And another thing you say about that, the error messages, right? So like even so, when I'm working on libraries, I try to make some meaningful error messages, right? So any opportunity you get to try and catch, like if you figure out what an error message means, what you want to do is that like I think another good idea is to make a try catch, like make a error handler a file where it will give you the messages for common errors, right? So basically, if you get like a URI error, but it means the file has to come from AWS, right? Try to make that function like a wrapper function in a way, right? And then we'll just so that instead of seeing those vague error messages, right, you see what that error actually means. But there's so many. I think it's going to be time consuming. It's one way if you see an error common enough, right? But because it'll be very time consuming because I think one thing about programming, no matter where you go, the error messages are always bad. For they just and to think about why it's like Ruby on Rails is a framework. All these software, we're not working with the actual code most of the time. We're working with like a framework, and then the framework gets deep and deep and deep, and there's some low level issues that the framework doesn't catch, but it just returns it to you to try and understand, right? And that's really the issue with it, right? Because if you think about it, right, there's so many different ways to write an application, right? That the people who make the framework, right, they can't handle all and every single edge case, right? They want you to make the code in a certain way, but your project might have some different requirements. Like mine, I'm trying to think about different flavors, right? Flutter doesn't really talk about that. So now, and Firebase doesn't really talk about that. So I get into this edge case, right? And it's like, hey, should like the whole world? So like, and when I think more about error messages, I want to say like, there's something called W3C, right? That's like web standards, okay? That like all web browsers should have, right? There should be like the same thing with like, this is what all libraries should be doing, all frameworks should be doing. Like one thing is good error messages and like environments and so on and so forth. Maybe we could start it, but until then, that's it. That's really why these error messages are so vague, right? And it's tough because but even so, like some of these error messages, right? The writers of the framework or the writers of the software programming language, they could do a better job explaining the error, and that's why I always try to do. Right, but I understand too because error messages they're exhausting to write, so it's just it's just like it's one thing that's unfortunate, but when you come across it, definitely take note of it, if not write a function of it for next time.
Okay, but what if so I wasn't getting the error message in development. It's only when I deployed to render is when I was getting that URI error message. So I was only getting the error message on render. And so, could I actually like write an error message specifically for render? Like, would that work?
Well, render is not a framework, right? Render is not a piece of software. It's where your application lives, right? So actually, you know what? Yeah, yeah. Well, what would have to happen is render is has to give you has you have to know that there has to be some way for your app to know that it's running on render, right? Render has to like indicate that. So I'm not sure if render could indicate that. But I mean, yeah, I mean it can, but I haven't heard of a way where the application could know it's running on render.
Render on what? What is render?
It's just like it's just like Heroku, where you run your server on. Oh, William,
Yeah, no, I was like typing it, check it out in Google.
all right, and then Ajay, are you with us so far? Like, you understand it all,
I
right?
mean,
Oh,
if
they
you
need. Yeah, what's up, bro?
it was what URI related, right?
Yeah, and then
Yes.
a lot
Like,
of well, yeah, go ahead.
can you send like a link what it looks like? Because it might be that.
Um,
Uh,
let me see. I don't know. Let me see if I can find it.
what do you code on? Windows or Mac?
Yeah, I'm on Mac.
You on Mac?
Yeah.
It might just there's some concept. What is it? Absolute paths and something. You might not have done an absolute path because if you're moving your code from your local machine to like another machine, the paths kind of change. So you have to account for that. That might be a problem. You're trying to load up assets, like what, an image?
Yes. Okay. So when I first did it, I had to actually none of the images were rendering. When I first deployed, none of the images were rendering. Period. I had to go in and change my Rails assets precompile from false to true, and then that's when the images were rendering. So everything was fine, but then I made some more changes, and I kind of changed the way. Well, actually, no. I had it where I have buyers and I have sellers. So I have users on my platform, and I have a profile page where that user's profile picture is displayed. And when I added that feature, that's when the entire app broke. And then I realized that it was pretty much, I guess, trying to say that, oh, there were users in my database that don't have pictures. And so I had to write an if statement to check, if this user has a profile picture, or let me see, I can look at my code. Um, where is it? I'm on it. Users.
I mean, then that makes sense. If you're trying to access an image that doesn't exist from the database, it should break if you're not handling it.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So I didn't know. Um, I didn't, because I guess the thing is when I had the validations, um, the image isn't required. So it's not, you don't have to have a profile picture. However, for the ones who do have profile pictures, like I wanted them to render. I actually shouldn't have my images like on the assets, but I need to just put it in AWS. I feel like that would handle a lot of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
issues.
Structure-wise, you're not supposed to. You shouldn't be putting like images in your database. You should have like a link to like a bucket, like an Amazon S3
Yeah.
bucket or something like
Yep.
that.
I'll set that up as soon as possible. Mainly, I was focusing on like the functionality and just getting it deployed because they didn't care whether that stuff was set up. They just wanted you to deploy what you had. So that's why now I'm trying to just go back and fine tune all of that. And I believe the AWS bucket will solve all the asset issues, all the image issues, the video issue. Well, I don't know about the videos. The videos might be problematic, but it should certainly like fix the image issues. Um, yeah, because that broke my entire app, and I didn't know what was going on. Let me. Can I check previous logs? Yes, here it is. Here it is. I'll share my screen and show you how that error message looked. Where am I?
Yeah. Yeah. In the meantime, like, if like videos and
These messages are new. It's not like before. Um, yeah, this is not UI error message. I don't know what this is. Do you know what these
yeah, yeah, no, I know that.
are? Okay, but it's working. This is the live site. Everything's working now. And you can see the videos and the images. Um, so what is that new error message? Yeah, I don't know what this is. What's it saying? jQuery file upload server PHP. I don't. What is this? Well, I don't know what that is, but as long as it's working now and not breaking, I'll figure that out later. But let me show you my code and what I had to do to get that to work. Um, is this? So yeah, this here. I had to do. This is like another way of doing it. Like if user dot image is present, then you render the image. And then where else is there? And I think it should be, yeah, we're in the user show. That was there, and then I think it was in the home show page. Yeah, so right here I have an if statement that says if the listing.buyer.image is not nil, then you render the image. So those were literally the two places where it was just crashing my app in production, and like that's kind of how I kind of created a temporary solution until I set up AWS.
Yeah, I don't think that's a temporary solution though. That's like perfect because like you might not have it. So if you might not have something, you have to handle it. It's not really temporary, and it's not something that, if you just put all your images in AWS, then you can come back and delete this, right? You'd probably still want to leave it.
Okay, that's
Alright,
good
and
Yeah,
to
then
know.
if
if the
if
image,
if something may not exist at the time you're trying to use it, you have to account for it, right? So whenever you're dealing with like the back end, that's always kind of the case that you have to make sure that you handle the cases where something comes up and it's not there. right? Like if you're coding, like what, if you're trying to make a div, you click the button, you make the div blue or something like that. Like that's all just right in that specific part of the app. It's not reliant on anything outside, right? But then the moment you start dealing with like external issues, you have to handle those cases. So the if part, that's proper to see.
Okay.
The past sending your images with AWS is just like more like when it comes to architecture type of thing, which is just better. You don't want to have media in your database. It kind of slows it down. But like that's pretty much a perfect solution. That's a good.
Okay, awesome. That's good to know. Good to know for future reference so that if I have this issue again, like I won't like freak out because it broke. So thank you.
And then in addition to that, what I want to say, do you have like a default?
Yeah, it's still broken. I don't know if you saw that, but like the sellers is still broken. I have to fix that. That kind of messes up the core functionality of the app. So pretty much here, wait, I'm a buyer, right? So you have like an account type and you're either a buyer or a seller. So you choose whether you want to sign up as a buyer or you sign up as a seller. And based on that, like there are different functionalities that you have access to based on like, what the account type is. So right now I'm a buyer, and as a buyer, I can create listings. And in fact, let me explain what this entire app does. So pretty much what this app is, it's like the inverse of eBay. It's the inverse of any marketplace app out there. So Amazon, eBay, Poshmark, Depop. If you've used any of those platforms, or even Facebook Marketplace, or any of those like marketplace apps, um, if you've used them, like when you're looking for something to purchase, you have to kind of search for it yourself and look through countless listings to try to find it. And sometimes you can come away with absolutely nothing. And so you've kind of just essentially wasted time trying to find something that, isn't there or isn't to your liking. So the purpose of my app Muse is to save yourself time, to be more, I would say, buyer or more customer driven, where I get to post what it is I want to purchase, and retailers, sellers, merchants bring their products to me. So I bring um, the seller to the buyer instead of the customer to the seller. Is what it is. It's like the inverse of eBay. So on this platform, you have two account types. You're either a buyer or a seller. And right now, I'm on the seller account type. And as a did I say seller? I meant buyer. Wow, I keep getting those confused. So right now, I'm on the buyer account type, where I can post a listing and you can kind of just see my listings. So right here, you post a listing. I'm going to change this to where you can actually upload an image or take a picture of something, as opposed to having to copy a link and paste that in there. But right now, you put in the image, you put a caption. So the caption says, "Hey, I'm looking for this particular item." You can choose from categories, which I have to fix this. I have to fix this categories thing. But right now, in my in my development, I don't have a development page open, but in the development, I think I can pull that open actually. I think it's like yep, local host. And I can kind of show you how it looks in development. So in development, I have my sample data, and the sample data has like categories like already like there. Whereas in production, I don't have categories. You have to create them, which can be problematic. So I don't know how I'm going to fix the whole categories feature. Um, but right now, yeah. So this is what the sample data looks like, and uh, I have like randomly generated categories right now. So games, outdoors, shoes, so on and so forth. Um, in Let's go back to production. So right now in production, I create manually created these categories: clothing, shoes, and accessories. And you put the image, you type what it is you want, you choose the category, and then you create the listing. And so that's how the listing gets created. So now if I sign in on a seller account, um, I can actually message this user and say, hey, like I actually have this item. And that's where the seller has like their own. Oh gosh, where is it taking me to? Where am I? Why is it taking me there? All right, let me move this bar out. Gather bar is like blocking. How do I move this?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I moved it. All right, so now I'm just gonna sign in as a I don't know, like what was it? Computer screen. Yeah. This is the seller account I'm signing into right now. Okay, so seller account sees the same thing. So they see all of the most recent listings. So Alana posted that she's looking for these ballet shoes, right? So this feature right here is the message where I want it to, take me to creating a new message. And I was kind of discussing this earlier how I want this to be pre-filled, so and hidden. So this should be a hidden form input where the recipient's already pre-filled with that particular listing's buyer. So all listings have buyers, and so Alana is the buyer for this particular listing. I posted this listing. So when I click on this, it should just pre-fill with Alana, and it should be hidden. I don't think that needs to show up, but if it does, just to maybe be more clear, there still shouldn't be a drop down. It should just be pre-filled automatically Alana, and it should also be pre-filled automatically with that particular listing that I want to message on. So I have to fix that. But yeah, you can just like create a message here and say, hey, like I have these shoes, I'm willing to sell them for however much. And so the point of the messages feature is to negotiate. So you can negotiate, you can talk back and forth, you can um kind of say, okay, well, I want to buy these shoes for 50, but the seller wants to sell them for 100, and you kind of just like hash all of that out in the messages feature. So once you kind of agree upon a price or whatever the case may be, the seller now can make an offer. And this is what really needs to be fixed is the offer feature. But um yeah, so like there's an offer screen, and it's just like the buyers, except the buyer showcases all of the listings. So on the seller account you see all of the seller's offers, and same thing here, you create an offer on that listing. So you choose, this should be pre-filled again and hidden. I don't think the seller needs to we already know who the seller is because I'm on that account. So the seller should be pre-filled and I'm computer screen. The image of the product, the description. So just what ballet shoes, and then the price. So that's the additional features. The price, so 100, and then this I think needs to go. So I think what I'll do is just set up. Actually, where I have it in notes, I can set it up where here we go. So I could do like a after create. So after create, I can send a message that's kind of like attached to that offer instead of having the message's ID, because this doesn't make good sense. 'Cause each message is a different ID, so there doesn't need to be a message ID. So that can go. And then after that, you create the offer. It's not going to work because it's a little messed up. So I have to fix this. But yeah, that's pretty much the core functionality of the app. I need to fix that. And then I, of course, want to add some more styling. And that's pretty much it.
I have an e-commerce project too, and I didn't finish it. It's just hard. Stuff is difficult.
Are,
Yeah.
are you using Square, Shopify? Are you using Stripe to manage your
No, no. So right now, that's a stretch goal. That's a feature that I'll incorporate later. Right now, I just kind of want to work on the core functionality of the app, like what it is that it's supposed to do. Once that is like, you know, I'm completely satisfied with it, it's all fleshed out, then I can start focusing on incorporating some sort of payment platform like uh, PayPal or Stripe or WorldPay, or and like the checkout feature and all of that. But I just need to like get the like the first thing kind of like all this kind of fixed.
what about you?
Also, guys,
Oh, okay.
oh, go ahead. No, go
No,
ahead.
I
Go
said.
ahead.
Yeah, what about you? Are you using Shopify? Are you using for the e-commerce platform? What are you guys using?
I mean, I stopped putting it. It was so basic. It was like flush out everything, and then eventually get there. Then I was literally just trying to learn the whole database stuff, doing the back end and all that. So it never got far. It was more like just learning thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I'm using Shopify. I'm using Shopify for my app, and one thing, one issue I'm having is the subscriptions. Right, like we're trying to get subscriptions so I could charge the user, but I have a ticket open 3 months, so definitely like I would say like even before you integrate, just do the research. Try to see that everything your app needs to do. Try to make a little project and try to see if you could do it. If you could do it easy, then integrate it. If you can't, then yeah, move on to the next platform. Because I didn't plan, and now we just now have to pay someone to try to show me how to do it. Because yeah, and then always like for edit like the e-commerce app, always try to check out Square. They have great support, but their software is not the best. I don't know about Stripe, but Shopify, they have terrible support. They're around 24/7, but they like taking you in circles. So uh,
So I was thinking like the way I wanted my app to be structured is kind of how eBay does it, where um, I'm not charging them to use the platform. So to use the platform is completely free. However, every purchase is made, I get a percentage of it. So if I don't know, I get maybe anywhere between 5 to 10%. on every sale that's made. Um, that's kind of how I would monetize the app. So that it's like, okay, yeah, to use the app, it is completely free, but I do get a percentage of what you're making because you're using my platform to sell your items.
Yeah, no, I see what might be see what's gonna suck in your case because actually had a project where we're looking for a third party tool for different uh for like a marketplace where there's multiple stores. There isn't a solution out there that's free. You're going to have to pay. All right, yeah, there isn't a solution out there that's free. I think it's good. I think I saw one for like 600. You have to pay for. I don't know if it was a month or something like that, but there's a free solution. You're gonna have to build that one yourself, right? So if it was just a single store, right? Because like the seller, right? I think what you would have to do is like it's either the I mean it's possible. I mean you can still use shop. What I imagine is that like the seller, they'll just be able to create their account, but yeah, they'll be able. All right, so they'll be able to create an account on your platform, but then when they create a product, like it will all be under your Shopify store, right? It'll all be under your Shopify store, but you would have to make a dashboard on your own app for the seller to interact with, right? So I mean, it's still doable to use Shopify or third party platform, but like all these e-commerce platforms, they're like for one store, right? If you have an app that supports multiple stores, right, is going to it. I think you can still use Shopify. It's that thing of environments again, where now, right, in addition to an environment, right, you have to indicate which seller. Okay, so when you list the products, you have to get the seller ID or the seller information, so you only return products related to that seller. Not an environment, um, but at a high level. At a high level, I think the reason why it failed in the application I was planning on previously was because sellers had to go in and manage their account, and yeah, I don't. Yeah, Shopify wouldn't allow for that. I think the owner of the app, right, didn't want to have to do too much. They didn't want to have to like approve a new seller or something like that. So they didn't end up going that route. So, but yeah, but it's still worth a shot to take a look at, right? I think for yeah to try to see if you can use Shopify to manage multiple stores.
Okay. I don't even want stores. Like, I think I want mine to be a lot simpler. Like, I don't want it to be like a store kind of thing. I just want it to be where if I, like, anybody, anyone, like if I see someone post that they're looking for, I don't know what it, this book I have, right? You can't see it, but this book. And I have the book. I message that person. I'm like, hey, I have this book. I can sell it to you for half the price. Then that's it. Like it doesn't even have to be like a store. It's just like it could just be an individual person just looking to get rid of extra items that they have. And then I do want retailers. Like I want mid-tier retailers, big box retailers. I want pretty much everyone to take advantage of this site because it's beneficial for both sides, even though it's more customer driven.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. So it's not really a store. All right. So basically, a buyer puts a product up that they're looking for, and
Mm-hmm.
then the seller finds that product. Okay, so it's not a store. It's not multiple stores. Yeah, yeah. No, when I first heard the idea, I was like, no, this is a great idea. We haven't really seen something like this that could really take off. Uh, but the mere fact, right, that a buyer puts something up for the seller to now find, right? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That right is something Shopify could do, right? So
Awesome. That's good to know. That's good to know because like as I continue to develop this app, um, I have to have like an entire like checkout process that's handling payments, and handling orders, uh, which I'm already overwhelmed with. Like, what? Why is my CPU overloaded? What does this mean? What is this? Okay. Anyway, um, yeah, like I'm already overwhelmed with like trying to implement the like initial kind of like features. So that's why like Shopify, Stripe, and any of those other like payment processing companies was more of a stretch goal. And like having the cart feature. I also wanted to add like a search feature, and maybe even like hashtags so that it gives posts better visibility. There were a lot like a wait, I have like an entire presentation on like all the features like I wanted to add. Oh yeah, anti-spam filter is going to be important. Censoring feature, like anti-spam in the sense that if I make a post and I say, hey, I want this item, like anybody can sign up for an account and message me. I want this not to be an experience where people are just being solicited for random things or being sent scam links or whatever. So I want it to have like I want there to be an anti-spam filter where it's like, look, you post what it is that this person wants, or you're off of my you're out of here. So yeah, that's a feature. I'm thinking what else? Censoring, because of course when you're dealing with the general public, people will try to do anything. So um that's one. I also wanted analytics. I wanted to add analytics. What else? I wanted there to be like maybe a review system for the seller's trustworthiness, just to give the buyers, more assurance that who they're dealing with, they're not going to get scammed, because that's like a main problem when it comes to any online e-commerce platform is scams and simply not getting what it is that you purchased, and that happens every day all the time. So I definitely want to like implement something that can help mitigate scams, and then what else? There's just like there are a lot of features I wanted to add to this.
Only suggestion I have now is it yeah, start using Shopify, because you don't want to think about transferring all that stuff from the database to Shopify. You rather just have Shopify now, so you don't have to transfer it.
Okay.
As for the rest of the features, right? I think that'll be up to you. What you want to keep in, what you want to leave out. Um, I once again it's a great, and then like the things that you mentioned, I even mentioned. You, you know, So I think well, Shopify could do some, right? But then like for the censorship and then the spamming, right? You probably need like a different third party tool. So, and then there's also compliance and legal, right? Once people start to communicate with each other, right? You're going to need a terms of service and privacy policy. Um, so there's that, and then then when it comes to purchasing, right? What I would recommend, instead of ah, right? So they'll only be able to purchase on the platform, right? So like eBay is like anyone you mention on eBay only purchase on the platform, right? So that we can enforce it, right? You could do this. You could do the same thing here, right? But then if something goes wrong, right, you as the company would have to look into it, right? So I'd probably say, yeah, and it's even interesting, right? Enough like that will be confusing. I would imagine, but I'm pretty sure as you go down, you do more research, you'll see. But right, if you, what I think is like say, hey, because we're in a situation where we try to get subscriptions going and Shopify gave us a hard time. So
Okay. Okay. That sounds good. That sounds like a lot of work too. That's why this app I kind of wanted to scrap it the moment I started working on it because I just came up with an entire list of everything that could go wrong. And there's a lot. So I just like I think the really cool feature about the app is just the fact that it's different than what's out there. Like it's the same in the sense, but it's different because it has that one major twist where oh gosh, why is my CPU? Okay, I don't know what this is. I've never gotten that message before. Okay, anyway, it's different in the sense that it's more customer focused, more customer centered, and the customer posts what it is that they want. Whereas like eBay, you scroll through listings, you search, I want this book, and you look through listings to find that book. Amazon is the same way, and pretty much every other platform is the same way. And the reason why I came up with this idea is because I saw people post on Poshmark, on Depop, that they wanted a specific item. So they're like, "Hey, I'm not selling this item. I want this item." And they'll put like a ridiculous price, like $1,000 or $10,000 on this item, because they're like, I'm not actually like selling this. I want this item. So that's why I said, well, why not make a platform where customers can do that? They can say, this is what I want, because ultimately at the end of the day, customers know what they want best. So it would make more sense to just kind of allow the customers to say, this is what I want. And then, all of the big box retailers, anyone can kind of just come to them and say, well, I have this product. And it helps, it's beneficial to both sides because, if I'm a seller and I'm a small business owner and I crochet, one of my hobbies is crocheting, and, people have told me to sell my work, and I have no intentions on doing that. That's just not what I want to do. I just like crocheting is a hobby for me. It's just something I do for fun or when I'm bored or whatever. But if I were to set up a shop and say for example someone says they want a Tamagotchi case, which I've actually made those before, and I actually yeah, I made it before. If someone says they want a Tamagotchi case that looks a certain way, I can come to them and say, well, hey, like I have this, like I make Tamagotchi cases and I can make this exact one for you, and there's a customer, and it increases like the trust, and now like I have a repeat customer, because they're familiar with me. I make what it is that they want. So that's kind of like the benefits of taking that sales approach.
yeah, no, it's a great idea. Right, and that's why I think like you try to continue, right, with such an application, right? Continue to try to build this out. Yeah, I wanted to build an app. There was like a rewards app where people could share the rewards. So maybe you have all these points at Macy's, but you want JC Penney points, and someone else has JC Penney points. I want to create an app where people could share. We could share, right? What I'm trying to say is like it hasn't been done before, so like I would try to say even build it out, try to get on the business side, maybe get I would, well, I think, I'd say even on the business side, try to say like, all right, try to get investment. Hey, this is that we want to build, right? People want something, they'll buy it. Like, I mean, investors are. It's really simple, right? The concept that I'm pretty sure investors will see, right? How such an app will how it could work, and it could really take off as a startup. Yeah, I think I think this app could really take off as a startup. Or maybe there's another app out there, right? That kind of does what you're doing. Let's see if
Yeah.
ChatGPT knows. Buyers, postings, and then Andre, you understanding everything that we're talking about here? And I know another guy joined, but another person joined, but I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm trying to catch on. It's a
Yeah.
lot of information. Some that are like totally new, but that's the only reason why I'm here, actually. Just to learn the languages and what this thing is all about.
You had any questions about what we were talking about in particular?
I mean, I heard like you guys said something like I keep hearing it as a term coming up. I don't know if it is the exact word, something like front stack, back stocking, or I think it's the back stocking.
Yeah, describe it. Describe what you're trying to say.
It's a term that I keep hearing that you guys keep using, like front stacking and back stacking. I'm not sure, but I know it has to do with something like front and back. Um, um,
The back end stack and the front end stack, what you're saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just the technology you're using on the back end or the front end, right? So like if you're at the front end and then you're building a website, then you could say my front end stack is like Angular or it's like Vue, right? Or it's like React. And then on the back end, you would just be like, usually there's more. So like you could just say Ruby on Rails, and then I have like a Postgres database, or you can say I'm using Node.js, and then my database is MySQL, and I use like some cloud stuff services, like SW3 for like keeping images and stuff like that. It's just the technologies you're using when someone says a stack.
Okay.
All right, so back to similar apps that out there. Okay, yeah. So eBay even has a "Want It Now" section where buyers could post about items they're looking to purchase. So Alibaba is more for like warehouse, but looks like there's an app called Bonanza and then eBay that's doing what you're also doing. That's doing what you're also looking to do as well.
No, I need to get mine out first. Because like this was an app that I came up with off the top of my head just based off of what I've seen out there. So yeah, let me hurry up and like get mine out there before they start.
Yeah, so no, so this is actually good. One thing is good is competition, right? So as you start to own your own business, right, it's a good thing that you want competition out there. I say this several times. Just because Citibank exists, right, doesn't mean the other banks close shop. Like Chase, Capital One, TD Bank, they're all still out there, right? And then even more banks are being made, right? Maybe there's a bank that serves this group of people, or this bank that serves, this area, right? Like even so, same thing for McDonald's. Just because McDonald's exists doesn't mean Burger King or Wendy's goes out of business, right? Or Smash Burger, right? Smash Burger, they might have better fries than McDonald's. McDonald's ain't trying to make that type of fry Smash Burger is, right? So, right. So to know that a product is out there, right, but it's not for the everyday person, right? It's really not about okay, it's the product. It's about how it's presented, right? So, say for example, right, if if people, it's like who it's presented to. So basically, right, if you have a great idea, right, but you only present it to your fellow scientists, but you never post it on the news, right? It might be a great app, but since it was never posted on the news or never promoted on like Facebook, no one's using it, right? But if you have like a similar app, not that good, right? And people are like, oh, okay, but it's posted everywhere, right? That's what people are going to go use, right? There's situations where you wish something was better, but what you have is all you have, right? Like say for I think say for example, right, when you I think say for example, right? Maybe you have a car and the backup camera is out, right? You want to go. All you know is go to the mechanic. When COVID hit, Google had Google Meet, but Zoom it took over and they won. Even though Google there was already Google Meet and all these big companies, right? No one could do. They couldn't do what Zoom was doing. So you never want to. So if there's competition out there, that's actually a good thing. That means there are sellers, there are buyers. Buyers don't like what these other platforms have, and they like what you have. So, right.
Awesome. That's definitely, and that was actually something that I was highlighting in my presentation. I have like my official presentation Monday, just highlighting like the market for this app, and just like the importance, or no, rather the significance of online shopping, and just how it's peaked since COVID hit. And nowadays people are even like ordering their groceries online rather than shopping in stores. So yeah, I did like some user feedback, conducted a survey, just to get some more data on how people shop and how people like to shop, and kind of, what are their enjoyable experiences, what are their less enjoyable experiences, and how my app can help address like a lot of their concerns. And I have an assignment to try to get my first 5 users, so I'm actually gonna try this out on you guys. Let me post it in the chat. Yeah, like feel free to, if you're someone who could, benefit, or someone in your network that could benefit from using this application, please feel free to try it out, and just like, let me know how you enjoy using the app, what your experiences was like, and some things I could maybe even improve on.
It's definitely sounds good. I think, right? One thing, right? Create a quick YouTube video, post it. Um, quick, sorry, to get like an overview of what it's all about. I think even not just creating videos to promote the app, right? But in addition, just for your portfolio, I think yeah. What I've done is I create YouTube videos for every single app I build. When I put them on Upwork, but right, put the video out there like so people can understand, you know, what it is. People understand. So that's all. That's why I think that that's what I suggest. Delete. Yeah, yeah, but for sure, I'd love to sign up once it's ready. So is it ready now or later?
So you can sign up. Uh, Pretty much the seller feature is what I'm currently working on. So, but you can sign up as a buyer. You can post, and I'll be there interacting, so I can like, respond and message back and forth. Oh, you can definitely test out the message feature just to see how that works, and like, just like the listing feature, how you're able to post listings. I do need to fix the offer feature for the seller account. But you still can use, the seller account. It's just I have to kind of refine those things I mentioned earlier. But yeah, it's live. The site is live. The website isn't broken anymore, so you can definitely go there and like try it out. I have a lot of front end work to do, mainly like just uh, I don't know, just making it more user friendly. And yeah, I definitely want to incorporate like a carousel for like the most recent listings as opposed to the way I have it now. I mean, it is fine. I could leave it, but yeah, I just want to play around with some CSS and some styling just to make it look more appealing. And then I do have quite a bit of back end work to do, mainly with the seller account and how that works. But yeah, you still can try it out and test it out. There will be more updates incoming. So, um, even as you're using it, you can just like check back daily. There should be like updates, whether it's to the front end or whether it's to like the actual core functionality.
Good. All right, so I just signed up for an account. I'm gonna try to make a new listing here. All right, so I'm clicking that new listing button. Okay. It looks like when I move to mobile, then I'm able to click it. But on desktop, when the screen is expanded, I'm not able to click it.
Let me see what's going on with that. That's weird. Let me see.
And the image is URL to image, right? Or
Working picture and let me see what's happening on desktop because it should work.
well, yeah,
For
first I'm using the Google Chrome browser, right? So did you ensure that it
uh,
also works on the Google Chrome browser?
no.
Uh,
Nope.
yeah, that's okay. We'll we'll share screen for the time. Yeah, I mean that's okay. We'll connect on this later. What I want to do now, before we try to wrap up, I wanna try to deal with this environment feature that I'm having. But you and I will definitely get together and try to see what's going on.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. All right, so with that, all right. So Will, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. So basically, this is what we're getting. I'm not sure how much of this looks like Android exception, right? But this is the error that's propagating, right? So essentially, right, so this is what I done in like build.gradle. I made a preview flavor. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I made that preview flavor. Let's try to pull over and it'll be a preview, right? So there's that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to 138. I'm not have. Let me try to. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to edit out. Yeah, I want to edit out certain things because there's a lot of secrets in here. So we build that. Edit out 138.
What's your app about?
Right, so it's a video management platform app. Users could upload, download, and transfer videos in bulk from one platform to another. Right, and it's a web app. It's a mobile app, and yeah, and then people should be charged a subscription quota. All right, and all right, and then yeah, we could do a little preview here. That's not good. It should do a little preview, show how it's working. All right, and then where is the actual application? All right, just hit play. Let's get that error. Okay, I'm gonna have to restart. Yeah, for this, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, all right. So this is running with the preview environment with the preview flavor. So I won't be able to sign in, right? So, but what I'll do is we could go to web application and we can take a look. Here we go. Let's see. All right, good. All right. All right, so good. So long story short, basically you come in, right? This is your progress tracker. So these are a series of videos that we already downloaded, right? As you can see,
Wait,
yeah. What's up?
wait. Is this Flutter?
No, this is Angular. The Flutter app right now is running with the preview flavor. I mean, the Flutter app is right now is running with the preview flavor. So I'm just going to demo it through the web app, right? Because the issues with this preview flavor right now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and then what I'll do just for sake, we'll just make sure we get that in there. Just stop, and then we'll just run it, and then we'll just run it with the regular flavor so you can see how it works. And then environment is gonna be dev. And just run it again, and then we're gonna let that start up. All right. So in the meantime, right, you can view, right, as you can see here, all these jobs ran. So we've already transferred our platform, our whole YouTube channel to another platform. Okay. And essentially, but our current issue is that one of the current issues that we're facing is that there's no limits, right? We gotta put quotas on people, right? We just can't have them people indefinitely increasing, just downloading, right? If you have like one user with 1 gigabyte, that's fine. But on system load, right, that's going to be the max users on the platform times the capabilities, right? So there's always scaling, right? That backend is going to run on Azure, right? So, but that's essentially what that is, right? So how does all this work? So is that you have to connect to a video platform provider. They also have to connect to a storage provider in order, because all your video data lives there. So in addition to these videos, the videos that get uploaded into your storage provider, your video data is actually living in your drive's application folder, right? That's where we stored it. We thought it would be more cost effective and more legally compliant if we actually store all the user's information in the storage provider, right? So they need to connect to the storage provider instead of traditional database. Now, before I continue, what do you think of that? Storing all the user's information in the storage provider. Not all of it. I mean, just like the non-functional needs.
What's the storage? When you say storage provider, what's that?
Yeah, so Google Drive is a storage provider.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's a place where you could upload, you could put users' files in.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of any, but that's just me. I haven't heard of anyone using Google Drive like in a program. So when you said they use the data, like what, images or things like that?
They use their own videos. Their own videos.
Uh-huh.
So,
yeah, I know. I don't know. I can't tell you what the difference would be with like using actual like an S3 bucket versus, because I know Google also provides their own like, blob where you can just put in files too. I haven't heard of people like actively building an application with G Drive in mind where they're storing stuff. Like obviously I've seen like, some Python scripts that will like run a bunch of things, save the images to like a Google Drive. But then like an actual application, I think there might be some issues with it. You will have to check on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it
so
might
far
be
it's
maybe maybe scaling issues, right?
yeah. Well, so
Probably.
yeah. So far it's free. Well, yeah. So far it's free, but yeah, we'll look at into that later. All right, but here's the mobile app. I know there's some considerations, right? It hasn't been done before, so we're definitely going to have to take a look at that. But app is at its final stages, right? So it is what it is now. Yeah,
Yeah.
you like to tear it down, but do it right. But we got language translation a little bit. We got this cool little flyout, nothing crazy, and then this is like the billing where people could manage their subscription. What essentially what happened is that if you use the Shopify plugin, this will probably take them to another page, and then people could export their data. They could delete their data in their account. But essentially, that's all it's doing. But hopefully, on our connection hub, we get more platforms like Skype, like the Mail, any other platform you could think of, even TBT that we talked about earlier. That's what I want to try to do. I'll try to get on a call with AP once this app is ready, in order to upload, for download to upload, and then that's where the customers will start to come in, right? But essentially, this is the mobile app.
Mm-hmm. So, like they said, the error was what exactly? It's not recognizing the environment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not.
Okay,
It's not
okay.
recognizing. Right. So basically, right now, so this is running off the. It's running off the emulator, but this is right now. This is the app running with the dev environment, and what it's doing now, it's connected to emulator, but the key, all right, but it's connect this Firebase project is connected to our production Firebase app. So we go ahead and sign in, right? It's going to work. Well, it's going to work. What I've done is that I just ran it on dev. Oh wow, this failed. Hold on, let me see what's going on. I think. Let me try to see the issue. Should have just worked right away, but I think just because I added preview in here, I'm not sure what. I'm not sure. Let me try that again, and then we're going to run on the preview environment. Not sure if I have to rebuild. Oh, we got an error here. Let's try to see what the error is real quick. It was working when I last had it, but that's okay. Gradle failed to build the AP. Oh, this didn't even run. That's why. But the tool couldn't find it. Oh, did I? All right. Let's just use preview for now. I think what it is, I think I moved the file, but I didn't finish up making the updates I wanted to make. So let's just run the application with the preview environment. What should I see here? All right. Let that run, and then I think in my key properties. Key properties. It's not figured it out anymore. All right, very well. All right. Either way, let's just try to walk through the code before, and then let's try to see what's going on. All right. So before the app starts up. Oh, okay. This is the Android build grader. I could keep it open. We'll go to app. All right, great. So essentially, right, what we've done is that for preview, right, for Firebase, right, what we need for there's two Firebase apps, a Neobia and then the Neobia preview, right? We separated those into different apps, as you could, you'll see it like that, as you can see right here, right? So we have a Neobia and then a Neobia preview, right? So a Neobia preview, right? So this is the SHA-1 from the key store for the key store that goes into Google Play Store. But from what I understand is that all apps use one debug key store, right? But each Firebase project, if one Firebase project already has the SHA-1, another project can't use it. So essentially, one of the problems is that I want this app instead of to when I'm doing development, instead of to use the debug key store, it needs to use, where is the secret? It needs to use this key store right here, right? It's that, right? But that doesn't seem to be. That might be the issue. It might be the issue. They
When you're when you when you're building, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. When
running.
I'm running, yeah, on my local computer, yeah, development. It builds. I haven't tried it. I haven't tried pushing it and trying to see if it will take. I could try it. I might as well try it.
Wait,
Yeah,
the key store, because the key store you use it to sign your app, right?
yeah.
So usually when you're running, you don't need a key store. If we're talking about Android, but you said Firebase is giving you a key store.
No,
What are you
Firebase
saying?
isn't giving. Maybe I don't know if we have bad connection. No, that's not what's happening. Is that if one Firebase project, right? So if you go take a look here, let's go here. Let's go to prod. Okay, project overview. We go in Nailbia. Try to look. Right? So one of these here is the debug key store. The issue is that I
Yeah.
can't use that debug key store in this project. Right. So I can't see when at all if this app is connecting to preview once I deploy it. So I can't meaningfully see. Gradle failed to produce, but the tool couldn't find it. Now again a couple errors here. All right. So basically, right, I think I'll have to move that key store. I'll have to move that SHA-1 for the debug if it's not using it to preview. But now this app's not running. Let's see why.
Go back to your environments in like Gradle.
Okay, right here. Oh, where's the flavor? Right here.
So when you run, are you actually building the app or are you just running it?
Yeah, just running it.
Because then why do you only have one product flavor? You should have two, right?
No, the release is production. The release flavor is just going to be production. There's no reason to have
No,
production.
signing only happens when you're building the app, right? You're building the app for release, right? So usually you're not, if you're literally just going into like VS and then just like hitting run in debug mode, you're never hitting these configurations. You're going straight into like just product flavors, if I
Yeah,
remember correctly.
yeah. Oh, okay. So okay. So even though
So you
this
should
is here, it's still
you
going
should
to use
have
the.
two there. It should only be hitting preview. Yeah, it's been a while. Let me see. Let me open up. I have like a project too where I did. Yeah. So first things first, you need a second flavor in there. Because let me show you. How did I even share?
It's at the bottom left.
So like I have an app. I haven't gotten to the where is the signing? I haven't even configured the signing part, right? Signing, because like I said, when it comes to the key store signing, that's when you're actually building an app that you possibly want to like upload onto your app store. So I don't think I'm wrong. You'd have to check, but like usually those configurations won't be hit until you do like Flutter build dash dash release, right?
Yeah.
That's like different from just Flutter build or like just Flutter run, right? So usually if you're just doing Flutter run, it's usually dealing with like the two production flavors. You only have one, right? So you're just pointing straight up to preview. So maybe that may be like one of your problems as of right now. You actually don't have two environments, you only have one.
Mm. Right. So I should just build the preview and deploy it. See, if the deployed app is gonna,
Yeah, try doing an actual like build, right? Like a Flutter, uh, what's that command? Like a Flutter build release with all its arguments and things like that. Um, you'd obviously also have to put those in, right? But from the way I see it, you you have like the configuration set up for multiple environments just when you're like signing an actual build, but then you don't have another environment set up for just running it. That's my opinion.
yeah, yeah. I mean, even so, right? Like I should it. I was gonna say something still in my mind. Come on, wait a second.
Wait, what do you mean?
That yeah, like yeah, I'm saying like you're right, but I was gonna say something about that and I forgot. I forgot what I was gonna say. Test around. Okay, so just say prod. So prod preview. Okay, and
Yeah,
then when
because
I
if
build
you're
it,
doing just wait. Let me stop sharing. Because it's been a while since I did like an environment with Firebase, right? I don't remember ever having to use those like the key stores that you had until I had to actually build the app, like actual build for release.
yeah, cause yeah, it was interesting. Well, yeah, so I don't know how it's working, cause Flutter, cause the Firebase project wanted a SHA-1 or else
Mm-hmm.
connecting from the from from the emulator. I couldn't connect, right? Because the app that runs on the emulator is using a different SHA-1 than the app that's running on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think you're right. Where right, it's not gonna. You can't just like tell it. You tell it to. Yeah, right. You need another
Yeah,
configuration.
you need a second environment on the product on the flavors part. You're missing one more. That you probably just look into that one first.
Yeah, but it would tell it to use the preview environment when running. Well, building is fine. Well, we gotta find out right now. Building, but when you're running it has to use the debug key store. It's just not going to use a key store from another flavor, right?
Wait, when I'm running, it's gonna use another key store. Okay.
Like you can't choose which key store it's going to use only when you build it. Like you said. Right?
Yeah, when you're running, key store doesn't matter when you're just running.
Yeah, but
Yeah, key
that's the
store doesn't.
problem. Yeah, so
Let me just check.
build that. All right, and then Alana and his name is blocked. Andre.
Yeah,
Right. So what? Okay. So
yeah, like when you're running debug, the key
yeah.
stores do not matter. Key stores only matter when you're actually building for release because you're actually then signing the app, right? To
All
make
right.
sure that once the Play Store receives it, it is the app, it is the correct app coming from a verified source and things like that. So that shouldn't matter. When you're just doing run, it's more about have you configured your stuff right to point to the right Firebase. But then you only have one flavor. That's your problem. You don't have a
Yeah.
second one configured to the second thing.
Yeah.
So my guess is that you configure for the preview and full production. My guess, but then we haven't seen. I haven't checked, right? It's that it should work. But like if you're just running, you're running into issues because you don't have a second environment for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm about to. Yeah. I'm about to agree with you on that. What I'm doing now, because all right. So what I gotta do now is just to see if it works. That I have to move the SHA-1 from the only debug key store I have from the production production Firebase to the preview, just to see if it's pointing to the right environment. So I'm building this
Mm-hmm.
preview, and then I gotta figure out how to. I gotta say, yeah, I'm sharing all. There's so many secrets I gotta edit out. But it's okay. All right, yeah, I'm gonna have to edit that part out too. Oh, what was the timing? Oh, it was at 2. Okay, it was at 1:59. And then it's another thing too. I have a lot of memory, but my computer's running slow. I don't know why.
How much memory do you have?
32 gigs.
Mm.
And then a lot of and Audrey, you guys understand what we're trying to do here?
Um,
Um,
so so far, I mean, you kind of touch on it when you just came on, when you were talking about the environment. So um, a bit.
Yeah, but what we're doing right now, right? What we're doing right now, we're trying to deploy an app. We're trying to deploy a mobile app to the App Store. Right? It's the same concept, but now we're trying to apply it here with deploying the mobile app to the App Store. Right? So, all right. Right. So now we're talking about deploying the app to the App Store. Right? You know the Google Play Store.
Yeah,
So and a lot of that's what we're doing too. And so when you deploy right an app, right, essentially what and I'm gonna butcher this. Will it just like take over if I butcher this? But you need to right. So you build the app, okay. Just like for a game, you probably have to compile the C# language into like binary machine bytecode.
yeah,
It's protection. You don't want another app creating the same app and users doing the app instead, right?
yeah,
Or some a hacker hacking the app store with your app.
yeah,
So it needs to be signed. It needs to be signed with like a public private logic. And that public-private logic you see in a lot of places with HTTP, HTTPS. There's a public and private
Yeah.
key encrypting your connection. So to encrypt the app in a way where it's secure when people are downloading it from the app store, right? You need a signing key. You need that signing key, and that comes in the key store. When you run your application, when you're running your mobile app, you use a
Yeah.
debug key store. But when you're deploying it, right, you create your own key store file, and then the SHA-1, that's the hash that whatever value is taken has to turn into that hash in order to be secure. All right. Once that checks out, then the app gets further deployed, right? Then the app gets further deployed. So that's how you could safely deploy your app, right? So that's how to deploy an app, right? You ultimately need a key store, and then you need that SHA-1 coming from the key store, right? But essentially, the issue we're facing now is preview environment, because Firebase, right? We have preview and production, right? We have those two environments, right? But Firebase, right, only wants one shot. When you're running the app on your computer, there's only the debug. You only have the debug key store. You can't swap. You can't use another key store, right? So if you wanted to test out preview on your local computer, you have to move the SHA-1 in one Firebase app over to the other. I said a lot. So you understand where I'm going so far?
Yeah, I do understand.
All right, Alana, you also with me as well?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's essentially. So now for right now, building the. Oh, it failed. Did I cancel it or something? Oh no, it's still running. Could not find 7Z. Okay, so it built it, but then that's the native symbol. So I'm gonna deploy it over right now. I just need to find this key store right here. Debug dot key store. Okay, it doesn't know. Yeah, well, I'll try to get the SHA-1 for the debug key store. Key store. Alright, so while that pushes, alright, what I'm gonna do here is that okay. So now when it's built, we get an AAB file, right? And I gotta go find it because my computer's acting interested. And they were gonna take that file. We're gonna put it on the App Store. There's like more automated ways to do it, but I haven't had time to sit down and try to figure that out. So, all right, build. So now we gotta go to build, app, bundle. Okay, app outputs, bundle, preview release. All right, and then we take that release, and then I don't know if this is gonna work, but we essentially are going to upload that over to Google Play, which is over here. Right. So basically, all right. So that's for production, and now we want to use this closed testing. Right. So there's that. Well, revealed in the file explorer. However long it takes to load. They would not create a track. I want to make sure I had the right pub spec. I want to make sure I increase the version before I try to upload. Okay, it's there. I was just checking the version. And then add a strap. I'll just draft here. Edit release. Alright, so that's gonna be uploaded. Hopefully that takes. Right, so now in the meantime I gotta figure out how to get the SHA-1 and then did Flutter not answer? With that. output. Okay, intermediate. I forgot how this works. The debugging tools. Intermediate. Merge. Native libs. So preview. Okay, so there's no okay, yeah. Out, lib, and I gotta zip this thing. Alright, so I'll try to see that when I provide a flavor, it gives it a different name. Right, so that's about to consider. Alright, so that's lib. Yeah, no, I don't want it like that. It needs to zip from the root folder. Right, so I'll have to delete that. So what I'm doing now is that I'm just trying to grab the debugging symbols so that so if there's a crash, I can see what's going on. And then it doesn't allow me to zip it like that. Alright, hold on. Say CD. Okay, and now I'm getting another issue. It wants the preview environment. Alright, we'll have to deal with that later. My computer's acting slow, so I'll have to deal with that in a bit. Alright, but now what I want to do, I want to go ahead and I want to grab the SHA-1 and I want to move it over. CD /CD Android. That. Alright. Okay, and then that's going to be my SHA-1. So this SHA-1 that's already in production, I want to just put in my preview. Add fingerprint, and I'll have to take it out of production. Save. It's probably going to get set. It's going to say, okay. Actually, that's interesting. It decided to work, huh? Alright, so let me try to see. It still was able to take. Alright, that's fine. Alright, let's try to restart the app. Okay, where is it? Where is it? Alright, try to build it one more time. Okay, so that SHA-1, I now put it in a preview. Yeah, so I hope now it will try to. So now I hope it will try to figure it out this time. Hopefully it still doesn't decide to crash on me. I'm not sure why it wanted to crash in the first place, but let's see, error. But I don't know why both Firebase projects were able to accept both.
Wait. Except both what?
No, I
The
mean
same
not both the same. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for correcting me. The same debug key store key. I don't know why it was doing that. I thought it was going to be something like. Well, I have a little problem because I couldn't deploy the flavor to the App Store. We'll take a look at that. But yeah, both projects were able to accept the same SHA-1, so that was interesting.
Yeah, no, they will.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't restrict that. Like it doesn't care. All it wants to know is that there's a specific app that it's authorized to work with. So it's not supposed to be unique. You can have like 5 apps, or you can wait.
Because the
You can
package, yeah,
you can have 5 Firebase apps, or have like or allowing one SHA,
yeah,
basically.
because the SHA is like a is like a green list. It's like a green list and a red list URL. Yeah, I started to realize that's what the SHA might be. But yeah, but the package name has to be different. I hope this builds. Okay. Oh, it looks like it built it. Right. The package has to be different, right? Hey, will you there?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I heard you. Yeah, I think it went in and out.
No, the package name and everything, when you're connecting, wait, it doesn't, the Firebase, when you're adding whatever Android app, it does not need it. So if okay. So I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Well, I don't know.
So
I'm going
let's
to.
okay, let's put it this way. Let's say we have 3 environments, right?
Yeah.
We have production, we have dev, and then we have QA, right? So what's what's your okay, so we'll just say it's Firebase production, Firebase QA, Firebase uh what dev, right? Now you want to make flavors, right, on your app, right? So obviously, since we have 3 Firebase environments, 3 Firebase apps, we need to make 3 flavors on the Android side, right? So a flavor pretty much means like you're registering different names of the app, of the same app, right? So we're gonna call your app like new app, and then we'll say the package name is new app.production, and then we have new app.qa, and then you have new app.dev, right? So you're gonna create the SHA for each one of these 3 environments, and then you go to the corresponding Firebase environment, and then you add in this information where it's like, the Android package name. You can give it a nickname, which doesn't matter, and then you give it that unique like debug signing certificate SHA, whatever it is, right? Basically, that's how it should work.
Right, but before you could create the SHA, you need to create the key store file.
Do you though? Let me see that. Let me check that.
Yeah, how do I? Yeah, it's a ghost string. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's try sign in. Get the error. Let's just sign in with Google. Something's taking a lot of memory. Let's wait. Here we go. Here we go. I think it's doing something. I think it's doing something. Oh, I think this is the dev environment. That's why. Set flavor. Okay. No, maybe I'm in the preview environment. I edit that out 218. Close all this out. For the mobile build. Yeah, it looks like you figured it out. Alright, cool. Yeah, it looks like you figured it out for the most part. Alright, let me click. When you're on mute.
Yeah, no, I was still trying to see.
Oh, okay.
What is it? I'm already forgetting.
We said the key store?
Yeah, I'm trying to see what if it needs like a specific generated key store for each.
And nailbeapreview.firebaseapp.com. Right, so key store. Okay. Yeah, so alright, so so Alana, Andre, you see how alright, now according to Will, he corrected me, but you see now how now I'm able to connect to nailbea.com and then nailbea preview.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's the same thing when you want to build your apps, right? You also would probably have to do this configuration somehow, right? But essentially, that's what we're doing. And now we should be able to connect to the preview URL. And then I think this might fail because I have to move the server from render to another server. Because there's going to be an API call and it's going to wait for the preview environment to start up. All that matters is now trying to get it on the App Store. I'll go to yeah, there'll be a preview. Yeah, the server's down. Alright. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's just its own thing. It's just its own thing. You see this? You see these have nothing to do with Android. You see? Yeah, like you see the arg right here. That's for Android, and then this is just our own, and then this is our own. Yeah, it has nothing to do with what Android is doing.
Yeah, but wait, you built an APK though, right?
Yeah.
And it was pointing to the wrong endpoint?
Yeah, because it was just the coding. It was just a coding issue. I put the endpoint. I set the endpoint before I checked the type. So now that's not happening.
Well, anyways, man, it's almost 4. I gotta go.
I had one more question for you. All right, damn. All right, but you gotta go.
Yeah, all right, what is it? Quick one, what is it?
Yeah, no. So yeah, it's not. So basically, I tried to upload the flavor, and it rejected it. It's saying that the bundle needs to have com.WindMillCode and nailbea, not a nailbea.preview.
Android bundle needs to have package name.
I'll try to zoom in. I can't. Zoom in.
Yeah, okay, go back to your Gradle file.
Okay, build that Grado.
And yeah, and build whichever it is, wherever you have your stuff set up.
Okay, here.
And you tried to build what? Preview?
Yeah, I built it, but the App Store's not accepting it. The Google Play
Have you
console.
already, have you already did you already upload an app previously
Yeah, I did.
before?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
bad news.
once you upload an app to the Play Store for the first time ever and you publish it, whatever the name was for that app bundle that you gave it is pretty much permanent. You can't change it.
Nah.
So I'm guessing you built the preview and then now you're doing whatever your name thing is, the preview, and it's not accepting that. It can't. You changed the name. So you right? Preview is your dev branch, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Yeah, you're right. What I want to do. Can I make a new track? I'm gonna make a new track and try.
No, no, no. That's it. That's it.
Uh,
It's over.
all right.
Like the
So,
moment you publish
hmm
the moment you publish it, that's it. Usually when you're sending something up to the Play Store, always consider whatever it is a production ready app. You're not sending your QA flavor, you're not sending your preview flavor. It should be the flavor that has a specific name that you use the first time in here. That's it.
so so how am I supposed to differentiate? How am I supposed to use the production app here and then the preview app here?
No, this is disconnected from whatever environments that you had, like on local or Firebase. So I'm saying that when you're sending your app up here, you should consider it production level, right?
Oh,
So that whole stuff where it says open testing, closed testing, internal testing, you're testing a production level app. It's testing before you launch a production level app. Not like, oh, this is QA, this is something like that. Nah, there's only one environment in here. There's only one app with one bundle ID and one environment. That's what you should be thinking about that way. So you're creating a test track off of that, but it does not change its endpoints. That's how you should look at it once you've uploaded your app here.
yeah, that sucks. Yeah,
Yeah, so
you gotta
if
make
you
a.
wanted to create another track, like let's say your team got big enough and let's say you had like QA, right? And maybe you even wanted like the production people, like maybe designers, to like actually test out the app. You would need a separate service from uh from the play console or the iStore, whatever it is, right? They do not have those specific require. Like that's what I'm saying. All they want to do is push up a production level application. They're not offering you services to create like internal tracks for different endpoints, right? What you would have to do then is get another service, and one of those services is App Center, right? Developed by Microsoft, but it's been shut down, so I wouldn't look too deep into that. There should be other ones, but I haven't looked into it. But yeah, that's what you're trying to do is not the purpose of the stores. They're just trying to upload a production level app, pretty much.
Yeah. Hopefully, you could send me the link on like this apps, Microsoft App Center, and the other things that could like do that, so I don't have to make a whole new app. Because I don't want to make a whole new app just for preview. But here's what it is.
No, Preview has to be on your own. You have to build it like,
Oh, like the APK, and then you just have people download it.
yeah, they have to download it. You have to find a way to distribute that APK, right? So
Oh
you
yeah.
can, yeah, so you can either be building it directly, they connect you connect they connect their phone to your computer and then you build it and then you sideload it, or you just send it like, compress it in like an email, or you can set out an actual proper CI/CD to allow like QA to just be delivered to them, right? But but like I said, consider the Play Store the place where you're just uploading the production app. That's it. You need another system or mechanics, or just like literally just send them the APK so they can install it if you want them to be testing preview.
So there is no point of this flavor. Well, there's a point. No,
No, there
no,
is a
there's a point.
point.
Yeah, yeah.
There is a point in the flavor. If you're on your phone, if you're on your machine, and then you want to have three different environments running on the same app, you do not want to go build the app, change the endpoints, build the app, change the endpoints, right? You want the same app, three instances, three different environments, so that you can go back and forth,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. And
But
then the preview I just built.
yeah, but the Play Store is not meant. You're just wasting time. It wasn't. It's not intended to be a place to distribute flavors. You just distribute. You should just think of it as distributing your production level app. So whoever needs it, if you have people who are testing it out for you as preview, send them the APK. I wouldn't necessarily build an entire process. I mean, unless you want to, right? Uh, Here, let me show you something. I'll show you the one I have used like at work and things like that. And it's free too. So the place is Code Magic, right? So you're gonna go in, connect whatever project, where is it? Connect whatever project is, preferably to your GitHub, right? So let me see where those. You connect it to your GitHub, and then you can create the different workflows, right? The production, uh, development, QA workflow, and then obviously as it's building, before it's building or something like that, you put it in like the build arguments, right? Like, look for this specific whatever it is. And then once it's built, you can have people. The hell are the builds? I guess they clear them. Once it's built, you can have like a list of people, right? Emails, or you can have like different apps, and then whoever's registered on can receive an email with the links to like the APK files or like the iOS file, and then they can just install it straight to their phone, pretty much.
Yeah, I want a solution where I could like do iOS development. Can Code Magic do iOS development or no?
It'll build both.
Oh, so I could develop on iOS and using Code
Wait,
Magic.
you're not a Mac?
No, I'm on a Windows.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean, you can push up your changes to your GitHub, uh, whatever you call it. Code Magic will see it. It will build both the apps for uh for what you call it, iOS and Android. But I mean, that's pretty much a bad way to do it. You know, that's
Yeah.
a terrible way of doing it. So, man, if you're serious about developing on iOS, there's no questions around it. You have to have a Mac. Like that's a horrible way to develop. Like if man, your debugging process is gonna be nasty because your stuff you don't know if your stuff is working, if it's failed, you post it up, you push up the changes, Firebase builds it, it doesn't work. You have to read through the logs on CodeMagic, which isn't that great, and then try to figure out on your end how it works. So yeah, no, you have an iPhone?
Yeah, I have an iPhone.
Yeah, then maybe you should have gone React Native with Expo, but it looks like you're already too late.
Oh yeah. No, React Native is like React is the way to go. But yeah, React more and more React is the way to go. Damn, that like wow. So you're saying if I was doing React, I wouldn't need a Mac. But to the
With
point.
Expo,
Okay.
React Native X here. So React Native, cross-platform, blah blah blah. And then Expo is like a company that's building tools around React Native, right? So one of the things that like Expo provides is that they have an app when you're developing where you it's called Expo Go. You can just download it on any iPhone, right? So you don't have to have a MacBook to necessarily test it. It emulates the app you're building for you. So you can kind of avoid the whole process of like having to have a Mac. But I haven't used it extensively. Like I have a project I'm working on. It works pretty well, but like if you're doing Flutter, then man, you need that Mac. And I mean, even though like the whole Expo thing works well, like building the Expo Go on your app and then emulating it, at the end of the day, if you're dealing with a iOS, you preferably need the MacBook. Like there's just really no ways around it. You're probably gonna experience problems that you might find difficult to debug just because there's that layer of abstraction. You're using another machine that's not specifically meant for it. So yeah, we gotta cough up that money, man.
All right. So very well, very well. All right. So with that, I think we're gonna wrap up here. Right. Right. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for your time. And then right. Thanks for everyone for coming up today. For showing up today.
Yeah, great talking to everyone. See ya.
Nice to meet you.